Apologies for the slight delay in day 2 of the road trip. Obviously, there have been lots of diversions, not the least of which was unbelievable traffic in the sort of Lyon, Luxembourg area. Very irritating. But a few days on, I've been taking detours as well, because there's so many things I want to see that I've never seen before, just going to Grand Prix and doing all the stuff I've been doing most of my life. And one of them was to go to Nuremberg, specifically to the Norisring, where I am right now. And you can see this is a racetrack, obviously in the shadow of the Hitler youth. Hitler, you know, I won't go anymore, but that's where Hitler used to do his thing behind me there. And there was this funny racetrack, the Norisring, which the only reason I knew about it, and I've ever known about it really, is because that's where we lost Pedro Rodriguez. At the risk of being morbid, I know we've done a thing recently on Mark Donoghue, but these things need to be remembered, I think, by all of us. And Pedro, for me, I was a Donoghue fan, I was a Pedro fan, what can I say? I was lucky enough to see him drive a couple of times, actually, in the Tasman series. And he was good, he was very good. I remember flag marshalling in 68, he drove the V12 BRM and then he drove the V8 in the raced it. And he was just fabulous going through the left-hander where I was flagging, just slight opposite lock, very nice throttle control, really good. Car wasn't that competitive. And I followed his career with great interest, because one of the things I liked about him was how neat and compact he was as a person as well. He just seemed to be very organized. These overalls were immaculate, his helmet and goggles were immaculate, the face mask was always perfect. And when he went to the full face Bell Star, I think it was the best looking of all the full face helmets when it first came out, the silver with the dark blue, I think, stripe he had, and the visor, and the whole thing just looked great. And he sat very low in the car, particularly that BRM P153 with which he won the Belgian Grand Prix in 70, that Yardley car. I had a big poster of that in my bedroom ever since he won that race. Just amazing. And of course, then he did all the Gulf Porsche stuff as well, the 917s at Brands in the Wet, the 9083. Every time he got in a Porsche, he was mega quick. 71, he was right there, right at he was quick as Seppi Sifford in the BRM team. Everything was going really well. And then he did this weird one-off race here at the Norisring, which I've never understood. I can only assume that it was just like, well, it's a weekend off. My mate Herbie Muller has got a Ferrari. He's asked me to race it. There's a bit of starting money. We'll make a bit of money. I mean, it was so ridiculous. The career he had at that point and how well it was going, to do this one-off race with back markers and the whole thing. And the car wasn't very good. It was a 512M Ferrari, 5-litre V12 Ferrari, but it wasn't actually an M, it was an S. And typical Herbert Muller, who was good, his preparation was good, but I mean, it was a bit of a bitzer, and there were a bit of a cobble up car really. And Pedro, it was a long race. I'm standing by the plaque now. You can have a look at the plaque behind me, the Pedro plaque, and I'll just read it out. It says, at this bridge, the Mexican race driver Pedro Rodriguez was killed in an accident on July 11, so he missed it by a few days, 71, during the 200 miles of Nuremberg, 200-mile race. That's longer than a Grand Prix, in memory of Pedro Rodriguez. So, and this was, as I understand it, he was coming down through this right-hander here behind me, very flat out it would have been, and there was a slower car in front of him, and I think he probably had to go slightly offline, but I don't think it was all that. From what I understand, there was some sort of problem with the right front as well, maybe a puncture, maybe some sort of suspension failure. And of course, when that happened, he had already been compromised with his position on the track, and he was very near the fence, the wall, I think it was somewhere up here behind me, and he hit that, and then hit something very solid here, not a tree, but this concrete thing here, probably behind me. He probably hit that. And that, I think he just went straight into that. That's part of the bridge wall, you can see. So I think he hit that, and the car just broke in two, fuel went everywhere, and the thing went up in flames. So I'm sure the impact was so bad that he wouldn't have survived it anyway. And of course, the rescue facilities were terrible. But as I say, the main thing was, why was he doing this race in the first place? This is that's what I just don't get. Nice little plaque. Great racing driver, so versatile, so good.